I built up a multiple six-figure net worth in under 5 years while being employed. And I did that by implementing a specific system of saving. And now I will share that complete system and the story behind it with you. I started to work later in life than most people do because I studied for quite some time. When I finally did, my first year's salary from working as a doctor was 2,600 euros per month after tax. That was around 5 years ago. Now my financial goals since then have slightly changed over the last couple of years, but what I always wanted was to build wealth. And because back then I already had read a lot of finance books, I knew that I needed to save and invest in order to reach that goal, in order to build wealth. So I started with 30% of my income. 800 euros of my income went directly into my investment account, automatically and right at the start of every month. And from the remaining 70% I paid rent and utilities and insurances and food and all that stuff. So I guess a savings rate of 30% is already a quite ambitious number, although there are people who save even more. But at the time, living comfortably was very important to me. I lived in a big city and I wanted to live near the place where I worked. So housing was around 40% of my income, but I didn't spend extravagantly on the rest. And then a couple of months into the job, I also started working shifts. Because as a doctor, it's not the usual 9 to 5, or more accurately 8 to 5, but there are also extra hours and shifts like on the weekend or at night. And also with growing experience, the salary was raised a little bit every year. So for every level of experience, there was a fixed rate for doctors working in hospitals in Germany. And effectively, that was 100 something more per month after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years, and so on. And the extra hours and the shifts were also compensated. So in reality, my income became quite irregular. Depending on how many shifts or how many extra hours I did in a month, I earned a little bit more or a little bit less than in the one before. And then I also noticed that the 800 euros I put aside every month became less than 30% of my income. So less than the initial savings rate that I set for myself. Of course, it's still a good thing to save and invest a fixed amount of money every month, but it's not the fastest way to wealth, especially not if the savings rate becomes smaller and smaller in relation to the income. So for me, that meant I wouldn't build up wealth as fast as I would like. And then I stumbled upon a video from Bodo Schäfer. He is a money coach here in Germany or in Europe, and he gave me the inspiration I needed. If you're interested, I linked the video down in the video description. Maybe there are English subtitles. So what he basically said in the video was this. Right from the start, no matter how much you earn, you put away a certain percentage of your income. For example, 10 or 20%. And then when you get a raise or for some other reason you earn more than before, you don't use all of that money to increase your lifestyle, but you use only 50% and the other 50% you put into your savings or your investment account. And he says with a regular savings rate of 10% or of 20%, you still become wealthy. But with this method of putting away 50% of the difference of the raise, you will become rich. So here's what I did based on that newfound knowledge. I took the 2,600 euros that I earned in my first year as working as a doctor as my baseline income. And I kept the 30% of that income, so still 800 euros went automatically to my investment account. And then what I did, I took my actual income of each month, subtracted the 2,600 euros of baseline income, and from the difference, I put 70% into my savings account and 30% I put in a fun account. Like I mentioned, Bodo Schäfer recommended a 50-50 approach, so the lifestyle increases but not too much. I am semi-ambitious, that's why I chose a 70-30 split instead. You could also choose to save 100%. That would grow your net worth even faster. For me personally, it wasn't an option because I really do enjoy beautiful trips and expensive stuff. I am all for financial independence, but I am more in the fat fire department. That means to not live completely frugal, but to enjoy an extravagantly lifestyle. Now let me give you an example. Let's say in 1 month I earned 3,300 euros. So I took that 3,300 minus 2,600 equals 700 euros. So from that 700 euros, I took 70%, which equals 490 euros, and put it in my investment account. And the remaining 210 euros I put into my fun account. So that means that month I saved the 800 euros plus the 490 euros. So in total, I saved an amount of 1,290 euros. And that really was a game changer for my whole savings system. And here's an additional hack. I use that system not just for my income, but also for every other chunk of money that comes into my account. I have a tax refund, 70% goes into my investment account. I have additional income of some sort, 70% goes into my investment account. Someone transfers money to me as a gift, 70% goes into my investment account. Okay, maybe I do an exception with Christmas gifts. But that, in my opinion, is the real secret to building wealth. By the way, if you have a similar system, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And it's also a system that I can easily maintain because my basic needs are already covered. Of course, that way my baseline lifestyle kind of stayed the same. But I did have some extra money in my fun account that I personally use for luxury stuff and holidays. So by that, it still felt like my lifestyle was increasing. And at the same time, I saved between 30 and 40% of my income, which makes building wealth faster than with a fixed amount. Now there's a little caveat here. Because I was earning differently every month, I made the 70-30 calculations manually, and I also transferred the money into the investment account and into the fun account manually. Now to me that was actually fun. I was looking forward to doing it the day I received my income, but I do see that it can add a little friction to that process. But at the moment I don't see a way to completely automate it, especially if your income varies like mine. There's another thing I don't want to keep from you, and that is that I had a little head start because my family had saved some money for me that went into my net worth. But if I subtracted the sum from my net worth, it would still be multiple six figures. So it really is all about having the right system. If you would like to learn more about bad habits that can hinder you from building wealth, I recommend this video next. Thank you for watching, and I hopefully see you in the next video. Bye bye.